Getting harder than a bitch, yeah. I ain't really with the shit, yeah, bitch. Shorty drunk and fuck, I think she did a bit. I don't want that hoe, she from last year. Gang, 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 gang. I ain't really with the shit, yeah, bitch. Gang, gang.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl KnoKnoFuri, and I'm coming back to y'all with another video. I twisted my hair. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. Here we love all things makeup and all things random, and this is a free judgment zone or non-judgment zone. Oh my god, non-judgment zone. So if you want to be a part of the Fury fam, click down below the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to let you know whenever I upload a video. If this isn't your first time back with me, welcome back, bitch. In today's video, this is going to be a special one. As you can see, I have no makeup on. I have a stain on my shirt. And my hair is crazy. But guess what? You're still gonna watch. Alright, bet. So today I'm gonna be talking about toxicity. Whether it's in friendships, relationships, family members, just how to deal with toxicity, whether it's avoiding it completely or when you can't avoid it completely, how to protect your peace. That'll probably be the title of this video, how to protect your peace. Now, I really didn't write notes on what key points I wanted to hit. I kind of just wanted to free flow this video out, if you know what I mean, because it was heavy on my heart, on my head, so I just wanted to go ahead and make this video, especially because this conversation I had with one of my best friends yesterday. Shout out to KJ if you ever watch this video, but you probably won't. First, I want to talk about identifying someone being toxic and what to do when you identify it. So, being around a toxic individual, whether it's relationship, friendship, family member, you will feel very drained about 99% of the time. If this person is around you most of the time, like say this person is your best friend, if this person is toxic to you, you will feel drained, you will feel lifeless, you will feel depressed yourself. Those are most of the key signs. If you feel obligated to be around that person, like you owe that person something, that is being toxic. Basically, to me, toxic behavior is anything that makes me feel out of the norm or makes me feel uncomfortable or makes me feel not happy. That's toxic behavior. And there's two types of toxic behavior in my eyes. You have the narcissists, the people that intentionally want to be toxic, and then you have people who are unintentionally toxic. And in all honesty, to me, the people who are unintentionally toxic are the most dangerous, and I'm going to explain why. People who are narcissists, basically people who are self-absorbed, they feed off of negativity. It's easy to avoid a person like that. Unless, I don't want to use the term weak, but if you're a person that has a big heart like I do, I've worked on it a lot. If you have a big heart and you happen to come around a narcissist, they can disguise themselves very well. And they really don't tend to show their true colors until like you're basically deep with them, whether it's friendship wise or relationship wise. But I feel like narcissists are technically easier to defeat than people who aren't unintentionally toxic. People who are unintentionally toxic, most of the time, they don't really know themselves well. They don't know that they're being toxic to you. So it's kind of hard to approach that person when they don't know that they're being this way, you know? They don't know that they're draining you or making you sad, or they don't, it's unintentional. And most of the time, that person needs to look within themselves and get to know themselves better, because they're looking for a like an outside source, kind of like a reassurance, basically someone just to hear them think out loud. And that can be a very toxic situation, especially, you know, you feel obligated, like you have to listen to that person. So that's why I feel like unintentional toxic people are way more dangerous. Now, when dealing with both toxic types, whether it's friendship, relationship, family member, what have you, I feel like it's kind of like one and all the same. Relationships are a little bit more difficult because you really do gain a bond with that person. But me, I personally take my friendships very seriously. So I feel like both are pretty neck and neck, as well as family members, because you know they're blood. So, okay, basically when you become intolerant to toxic behavior, you'll start to know a difference. But it's very hard. I grew up in a toxic environment, toxic family. By all means, I love them all to death. So my family was unintentionally toxic. My mother and my father didn't really end up working out. A lot of you don't know, but my father actually ended up passing away in 2016 from cancer. So me and him, we didn't really have that best of a relationship. That's for a whole nother video. But the marriage that my mother went into with my father, it kind of scarred her. So all the mannerisms that she has, she passed on to me, my sister, and my brother, like all my siblings. So in a way, we all have some type of toxic mannerism, and all of us in that one household was just a really bad environment for me. Like for example, I'm not ready to release that yet. I can't tell y'all that. I'll tell y'all that in another video. I definitely took steps on how to basically avoid all that in one household. It's really hard when you're in a house. I guess I'm gonna talk about family first. It's really hard when you're in a household full of toxic people because it's like they're always in your face. You always have to see them. But I feel like there are still ways to protect you, sis. I got you. So this is gonna suck if you have to share a room, but tip number one, if you have your own room, stay in your room. Stay in your room, get to learn yourself as a person. Like, I swear by that. Like, growing up, like, it sounds very, very bad because it's like you're isolating yourself. But in all honesty, you guys, literally, when I would come home from school from having bad days and then I would have to deal with my family, I would just go straight to my room. My mom literally called my room my dungeon. But literally, my room was where I learned myself. Like, I basically learned in my room that I love music. I learned what type of music that I was into. I basically learned that I wanted to pursue music at that time. Music was a big part of my life. Music is so therapeutic to me, along with YouTube. So therapeutic. I basically learned what TV shows I liked, my mannerisms of how I react to certain things. I was just going through a lot in high school, and it's just like when I shut myself off from everyone and I just dealt with myself, in a way, it kind of made me stronger as a person, because I can truly say that I know myself. I may know myself like 95%, the other 5% I'm still evolving, I'm still changing, but I'm pretty self-aware with myself and how I react to things. Not a lot of people are like that, surprisingly. Me and my friend KJ, we had a conversation about that yesterday. Like, we were really, our minds are blown. Like, if you really think about it, people do not have the same reactions as you. People react differently. And it's just like, it's so simple, but it's so broad. Because it's just like, for example, okay, say someone stepped on your shoe, okay? There's so many fucking reactions that could happen to that situation. You could have someone that would cry about it. You would have somebody that would want to fight about it. You would have someone that would want to talk about it, like, hey, why did you step on my shoe? It could have been an accident. Like, it's so many ways that people think. and you feel like people think the same as you, but in our reality people don't, and that's just so crazy. But anyway, I'm off topic. Anywho, don't isolate yourself completely, but just, I guess this tip is get to know yourself. Get to know yourself as a person, know your mannerisms, know how you react so you can control them better. Learn to control yourself. Tip number 2 would definitely be to ignore. It sounds really, really cliche and just like, okay, really, but learning to ignore takes a lot of strength. Not everyone knows how to ignore someone. Literally, there are people that cannot ignore someone. If you have to get the last word with things, if you fucking have to fucking make sure all eyes are on you, you know, make sure that you make your point across. You don't know how to ignore. You can't ignore, sis. Ignoring to me means that you literally don't take notice in anyone else's chaos than your own. That's how I feel. Like I'm not paying attention to your chaos. You deal with it. I'm gonna be at peace. That's how I feel. So definitely learn how to ignore people. People will try to project your energy on you, and it's up to you whether you take that energy in or you repel it. I definitely feel like you can repel energy as well. It's really hard. I'm still trying to learn myself, but I definitely think that you can repel energy. So yeah, definitely learn how to ignore. Like, that's really important. And by all means, I don't mean like ignore your parents, ignore your partner, but just ignore their energy. Like if someone is constantly depressed, constantly sad, and you see that they're not trying to work on themselves, it's up to you whether you dwell into that or you go about making yourself happy. So that's that. Third tip about living with toxic people: find your outlet. Definitely. A while ago, my outlet was music. I used to write poems, I used to write music, couldn't rap for shit, but I was in a fucking rap group. I'm not gonna go about that either. That's dead. But definitely find your outlet. My outlet definitely was YouTube. When I was smaller, like in middle school, went into high school, I didn't talk much. I was very soft-spoken. But as I got into high school, I'm the type of person, I know how to talk to people, but I choose not to. Does that make sense? Like, I know how to read people and carry a conversation and stuff like that, but I don't care to, I don't know. It's difficult. I'm a very difficult person. However, basically, find your outlet. Like I said, mine was YouTube. Creating and editing literally is so therapeutic to me. Getting my words out and watching and seeing people watch my, information, my creativity is so therapeutic to me. Like, I have friends that were, going through some things, and their outlet was music. So your outlet could be anything. It could be photography, it could be drawing, it could just even be watching TV, it could be playing the game. It can be anything. Just don't adapt to addictive behavior, because that can happen as well. Find a balance, okay? Find a balance within life. But definitely find an outlet, because definitely when I find myself in a bad mood, I come here to my studio. I come to my studio and I just record or I edit and I feel better. So definitely find an outlet. I know it's hard when it comes to toxic family, because they could be the one blocking your outlet, but it's up to you to basically determine how you can go about finding your outlet. It could be reading books, going to school and reading the library, going to art class. Like, it could be anything. So just trying to find what makes you happy. Those are really all the tips that I have when it comes to living with someone who's toxic, because it's a very hard situation. Like, I can't go in depth about that because it's a very, very hard situation. Because like I said, I was in it and I didn't master it. I truly feel like I found peace once I moved out of my mother's house. So yeah, definitely moving out would be that last step, but I know for a fact that that is not easy. Not everyone has that opportunity to move out immediately, so try to find your bit of happiness in your chaotic environment. So yeah. Toxic relationships. I was in a toxic relationship, I guess you want to say, and it was bad. Definitely, I don't really have that much advice when it comes to toxic relationships either, except to heal. Definitely try to heal yourself. Most narcissists are in relationships with people because they need that advice. They need that person to just prey on to make themselves feel better. So if you find that you're in a relationship with a narcissist, identify it. Like I said, if you feel like you're completely torn apart every day, if you feel like you're put down, if you just wake up every day feeling sad that you have to deal with this person, you're probably in a narcissistic relationship. Two, ignore. Narcissists, the way that they work, they thrive off of attention and your feedback. So if you don't give them your energy, they have nothing to feed off of. So, like, if they intentionally do things to piss you off, don't get pissed off. And I know it's hard, but literally when you get in your head that it's just a mind game, that they're fucking around with you, you'll catch on. Because it's just like, they do things, they fuck with your money, they do shit just to piss you off. And if you just, it's okay, I'll get more money. Like, they'll go fucking insane. And then that in a way makes you stronger as a person. Because like I said, when you focus on your own peace and not everybody else's chaotic situation, you definitely grow stronger as a person. And then my last tip on that would be to fucking dip, sis. Go. Get the fuck out. Narcissistic relationships will tear you the fuck down. Like, they will tear you down, wipe you out, and you won't accomplish anything. You'll basically be unhappy for the rest of your life. Dips this. There's no changing them. Narcissistic people don't change. All they care about is themselves. Go. When it comes to people who are unintentionally toxic in relationships, I don't have a lot of advice on that because I'm going to be 100% transparent. I once was that person. I definitely feel like in my marriage or relationship before we got married, I was that one toxic person. But I identified that on my own and I'm working on it. So if you get a person who is unintentionally toxic, try to talk to them about it. Approach them. Don't attack them. Come as gentle as you can. And they still don't understand after the conversation, try swapping the scenarios, pulling them on them. If they constantly drain you, try draining them. And, explain to them that this is how you make me feel. If that doesn't change, then unfortunately not every unintentional toxic person can change. I've learned that. So yeah, best advice to you, but if you want to deal with that toxicity for the rest of your life, that's what you're prepared to deal with for the rest of your life. Alright, when it comes to toxic family members, I definitely feel like this is very, very difficult to deal with because, like I said, at the end of the day, your blood. People think when you're born into this world, family literally can do anything to you. They can walk all over you and you still have to love them. No, we need to stop that. That is literally so mind-numbing that we shouldn't accept this from strangers, but we can deal with it from family. That is literally like the most sickening, toxic thing that I can think of. Like, I have so much toxic family, you guys. And it's like, I'm not judging because I am not the best person in the world. I've done shit, I don't claim any positivities of the highness. Like, I'm not, I'm not some queen. I've done shit too. But it's just like, I have a lot of family that likes to gossip, likes to judge, likes to put their nose where it doesn't belong. And it's just, I personally, the way I deal with toxic family, I cut it off. Period. Like, I'm not dealing with it. Like, majority of my outside family, I do not talk to them. I don't talk to them. I deal with them as much as I can, like from afar, like, you know, occasional Facebook message or text message, like how you doing, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to checking up on me and knowing on my personal life, no, that's dead. I won't deal with it. I won't, you know. Toxic family can literally be one of the most damaging situations, especially if you have a toxic mother or father. Because basically when we are born, you know, you have a guideline or a leader that you follow on how to build the blocks of your life, like how you're going to, what person you're going to be as you grow older. That person is basically the blueprint. Like, no matter what people disagree with, the person that nurtures you is like the guideline or blueprint of how you're going to grow up. That's why when a lot of fathers or mothers are missing out of people's lives and all that one person is that they have is toxic, they end up in jail or they end up on drugs. Or, you know, and not making excuses, but it's common. It happens a lot more than you think. But yeah, it's hard when you have a toxic mother or father, because you have to be strong enough to break the mold and see what mannerisms that they have are toxic. Because if you don't, you're going to end up growing up being unintentionally toxic, and that's going to be a very rough life for you. Could be a life of sadness, could be a life of anger, you know. I don't know why I say anger like that. Anger could be a life of anger. Like, it could be a multiple amount of things. Like, my mom, I personally feel like she never had that opportunity of happiness in her life. Not saying my mom isn't happy, but she isn't accomplished. You know, she had goals that she had to abandon because of her marriage and because of me and my siblings. So yeah, it's just like when people release those feelings on you, you pick all that shit up and you grow up with it. That's why it's like a lot of people end up growing up damaged, you know. So yeah, if you have toxic parents, try to figure yourself out. Try to know your mannerisms. Like, identify what's right and what's wrong. Try to make friends. You know, I told you in the first couple of steps, you know, when it comes to living with toxic people, you know, isolate yourself or stay in your room, but still try to carry conversations with people. Learn, when you live with someone for so long and you don't interact with other people, it's like you're learning this one mannerism and you're just like, okay, this is right, this is the right thing to do. But when you get older and you meet other people and you see other mannerisms, you're just like, oh, you know, there's that too. Are you wrong or I'm wrong, you know? Like, it's hard to explain. I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but if you know, you know. Okay? If you know, you know. But, yeah, you guys, just try to find your own peace. That's the number one thing that I can suggest. Try to find your own peace. I'm working on that now. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to cancel out all these mannerisms that I've learned. I'm trying to deal with people. I still have a couple toxic people in my life that I love dearly, that I do not want to let go. And I'm trying to cope with them the best way that I can. But sometimes you just have to tell people about themselves, and if they don't want to change, then you gotta let them go. That's probably the final decision in this video. You have to let them go. I know it's gonna be hard, whether it's your mother, your father, sister, boyfriend, husband, dog. I'm so petty. You gotta let them go, because at the end of the day, your happiness is the only thing that matters. Don't let anyone guilt you into being happy. I've learned that in my life. Don't let anyone guilt you into being happy. Don't ever feel guilty for being happy. That's what I want to say. Don't feel guilty for being happy. Alright. I'm pretty sure this video is like 20 minutes long. I really appreciate the people that watched this all the way through. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, stay furious. Gang gang.